Vanessa, welcome. Welcome to the street corner. Thank you for coming to hang out with us. And and I suppose the main thing that I know Vanessa for is her relationship with and her work on happiness. Did I get it right? That you think that happiness is a skill, and if
Yeah.
so, can it be? Is it one we can learn and improve?
Happiness is actually quite complex and lots of things influence it, including kind of to some extent our genetic makeup and our early upbringing, our environment, the conditions of our life, if you like. But actually, once you've got your basic needs met for sort of food, safety, enough income to pay the bills, I mean, I'm not talking fancy, um, actually, those circumstances play relatively little, improving those circumstances has a relatively little impact on how happy you feel. But a lot of our kind of habits and practices of thinking and behaving, and our lifestyle has a significant influence on how happy we feel. So um, yes, so I mean, the Dalai Lama has a lovely quote from him saying, "Happiness is a skill that can be learned," and there's definitely things that we can do that can help us live a happier life. Doesn't mean to say we'll never have downs, but actually we might be able to deal with those better.
Yeah,
And actually, yeah,
don't take my downs away. I'm Jewish.
no.
I need some suffering,
Well,
otherwise
well, it's a good
life
question.
would
I was
not be
having this
worth living.
question, a discussion the other day with someone. If you didn't have the difficult times, how would you know you were happy?
Give us the examples where people get really upset about
Well,
happiness.
I do quite a lot of work in organisations,
Hmm.
and certainly 10 years ago, you could not talk about the H word. Even now, it's uncomfortable. You can use. It used to be that you had to use the resilience word. It was all about being resilient, and actually, a lot of the psychology underpinning it is similar. Um, and now you can use the word well-being more, and motivation and all that stuff. But now actually I'm finding more and more organizations are getting comfortable with this idea of you know happiness or happier living, and especially as the kind of boundaries between work and home, right, they're completely blurred at the moment, but even before they were getting more blurred.
And,
So it's that I guess it's one of those things we throw the word around a lot, you know, I'll be happy when, I'll be happy if this made me happy. But we don't actually spend much time really thinking about, well, what does that take? And what does it really mean? What does it really mean to me? And what does it take? Which is, I think, is why something like street wisdom works so well, because it is about encouraging people to go slow, to notice, you know, beauty, to notice things that you're drawn towards, and just helping people kind of have that space to reflect. But actually, there's the evidence is showing that people who feel happier, economists, for example, use the word life satisfying. You're satisfied with your life as a proxy for happiness. They know that people are physically more likely to be physically healthy. They're less likely to catch colds and less likely to have heart disease. They're more likely to take care of themselves. They're actually likely to perform better at work. They are more likely to help other people and contribute in their communities. They're even more likely to vote, which is quite interesting. They're more likely to take action on the environment. So it's quite interesting. There's a lot more here to meet the eye, because it actually seems to have these quite positive outputs. Because often we say, well, I'll be happy when, I'll be happy if. But actually it seems that happiness, and that may well be true, but that happiness could also be an input to some of those things. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of a lot of the research is actually kind of helping us think differently about happiness, I think.
well,
And that of course then creates connection between people, which is what we all need. It's kind of weird that even though we're having to be further apart from people when we're out and about, strangely it's made us more mindful. Well, certainly my experiences are, you're more mindful of others, and then you're doing that slightly embarrassing thing when you're walking further apart, so you smile at each other. So it's actually made, even though it's pushing us apart, it's kind of connecting us in the same way, whereas ordinarily we probably just walk straight past them in that kind of, certainly in that London way. So it's quite interesting experience, I think. It's interesting because in the research, people that are clear on multiple sources of meaning, I say 3 or 5 sources of meaning in their life, they're clear on those. It boosts their resilience, and they're much less likely to be a workaholic.
If you're in any sort of leadership position, meaning is your job these days. People are yearning to know what things mean or to do meaningful work. But also meaning's made up. And so you have to be careful because people will tell you things mean things. You have got to be quite vigilant. And,
Well, it's also quite, you can't, I think, as a leader, and I mean, I've asked, when I've worked with groups of leaders, so huge, what's meaningful their work for each of your team. And they go, well, you're delivering the strategy. And you're just like, no, that's not necessarily, that's the hygiene factor. That's what you sign up to do. But what do they find most meaningful in their work? Go and have a conversation, because it's different for different people. And what's meaningful outside work? What's meaningful there? I mean, for me, appreciation of beauty is actually a really strong strength of mine. So actually, although it seems trivial, just things looking nice is nice in what's nice to me is a really meaningful thing to me, and and it's a way of connecting into the world. Nature is very meaningful. Being in nature is very meaningful for some people. It's not always something you can put into words, I think. And it's also about our own story as well. And I know you do work with I love the but and so in our stories is about crafting that narrative, the meaning of our life.
while we're talking about happiness and getting serious about it, I think we also just got to keep practicing it in a little way. And I don't know about you, but it's these moments, the dumb things, the throwaway things. Often it's like building up a series of these moments. The more you can have, and the less space between them, the better.
And that is absolutely true. That's absolutely true. The more little moments of joy and fun and pleasure and calmness and peace that you can add into your day, tiny moments add up. I mean, psychologically they do. And there's even something I want to say is there's a clinical psychologist that has done stuff for us who deals with people who are in really like terminal illness and things and families. And she has a great phrase. She says, even on the worst day, there's a best moment. So go to bed at night and reflect on the best moment of your day. It might be not be jumping for joy, but I think it's really important to reflect on.
So I love the idea of active coping. It's like I went to an osteopath, and I said, so what do you see? I was there, here. He said, well, let's call a spade, David. He says, I think what we're talking about here is managed decline. I just thought, well, thank you very much. But I love the idea of active coping. Sounds very British.
It was actually American, I have to say.
Well, still. So listen, Vanessa, thank you once more. Be happy.
Lovely to see you.
Everybody, have a happy week. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay well, wash your hands. It's great to see you. See you in a week's time.